Okay, I got it.
You can do whatever you want. All right, ready? And 3.
Can you? We're keeping that in.
In 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, today we have a special guest with us, home from college on spring break. We have Ethan, Curtis, and Ethan. Why don't you tell us just a little bit, for those that don't know, not everyone knows who you are, kind of your history here, kind of what you're doing now, where you're at college.
All right. So I've been going to this church, or I went to this church from first grade all the way through senior year of high school. So just growing up here, it's always felt like my second home. Gotten really close with all the people here. But now I'm at Lubbock Christian University, starting my degree in youth and family ministry. I'm hoping to become a youth minister someday. Learning lots, making a lot of friends. It's been a good time so far. I love it there, but
Because it's the best.
it is the best.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No
ACU.
comment. No comment.
No comment. So we wanted to bring you on today, and just kind of get a feel. I remember as I was moving from high school to college, it was kind of a big transition, and there are certain aspects that I think I was ready for, and there were some aspects that I was not ready for at all. And so, with your time here, and also in light of wanting to pursue ministry as a vocation, with your time here, how has that prepared you, or where are some areas that you feel like you were really ready to begin to take on that task?
Yeah, so here I really stepped into, I would say, a leadership position, like in the youth group, whether that be through youth led. I started really early. I think it was 5th grade whenever I gave my first little short devotional, and just kind of kept on going from there. Just having the opportunity to lead singing in Sunday morning worship, or lead it in a youth group activity, and then I've gotten a couple opportunities to actually teach the youth class, which has been really beneficial, just learning how to do that and just strengthen my talents in that. And so I think the biggest thing that I took away from this church is just getting a feel for leadership, and that's really helped me just be confident while I'm doing that, and really embrace those talents. And I've taken that, and I've gotten the opportunity to lead singing in chapel, which is something that we do every week, 4 times a week, just a little 30-minute worship in the mornings with the whole campus. And so I've gotten to lead singing there. I've gotten to lead singing in a couple little devos with club, and it's really just so I think it's really prepared me just to be a leader. Let's see. Yeah.
So you've been here quite a while, right? You said since first grade. I haven't been here that long, but as you look back on your time, what are some relationships or maybe moments that some adults kind of poured into you that you think helped you get to that point?
Well, there's a lot. There's so many adults that have poured into me. I remember back in 5th grade, whenever I gave that first devotional, just all the sweet ladies coming up to me and just saying, "You're gonna be a preacher someday, aren't you?" Like just pouring into me, and like obviously I just read like a couple sentences off of my paper, and then said a prayer. But they just like poured into me and encouraged me to keep doing that, and that just continued to happen after everything. There's just so many encouraging people at this church, and then I would say you were a big one. Just continuing to push me and to get me to do more and more, and to step out there and just increase my talents, I guess. But then I don't want to name names because I'm gonna forget people.
Sure.
But,
Yeah. It's fair enough.
there was just so many people that encouraged me, gave me tips.
Like
but-
money?
No, not
Oh,
no,
okay.
like tips on how to do stuff. But
Yeah.
really, just as a congregation as a whole, like they're just poured love into me, and really encouraged me to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, and kind of like what I said earlier, I think I remember myself, there was a lot of things I felt really prepared for. But there was also some things that maybe I got to college and I wasn't quite as prepared as I thought I would be.
Mhm.
What were some of those areas for you?
One area, well, I guess picking a church home was
Mhm.
probably something that's been really
Yeah.
difficult for me. Just coming from just a place that I've just felt so comfortable in, and then going to a bigger town and going to this huge church, only knowing a couple people. Like it's a lot different. Like I would walk
Yeah.
into this building, and I could probably name everybody that I saw, and then I go into a new church, and it's just a different vibe. Like it's different. So I think just finding a church home has been really difficult for me.
Yeah.
Just finding.
Alyssa and I
somewhere-
struggled with that
Yeah.
too.
Well, we went to one place for about a year and a half and ended up switching after that because we thought we were kind of getting connected and decided maybe this wasn't the best fit for
Yeah.
us and the place where we were really getting fed, and so we echo that, and I think that's something as we move forward as a congregation. And this is me speaking to everybody else out here that's going to listen to this. And I don't think there's necessarily an answer, but I mean that's a real problem. I think really having connections and learning how to do that. And I would, you may say otherwise, but I think you've been really blessed by being surrounded by some pretty awesome people, whether it's your family or other people in this congregation that have kind of helped you along in that, and you've seen, I think, the good side, right? The relational side of church, and it's hard to then go from that, having deep relationships, to being.
It is for sure.
Well, and one of the things that I think we protect our youth from is some of the underbelly of what goes on in churches.
Yeah.
That adults get to see a little bit more of some of the challenges that are in church, and when you're trying to go and find some place and get plugged in, you start to notice some things that maybe you wouldn't have even noticed, especially if you grew up there. But also, if we just don't include kids in all that sort of thing all the time. So
Yeah, for sure. So that was one thing. Is there anything else that you really felt?
I think just going from living with your parents and always going to every church activity, like it just became like a habit. I wouldn't even think about it. But then going to college and having to give yourself that motivation to show up to everything, even whenever you're super tired, that's definitely a challenge. And then just seeking out opportunities to kind of have that fellowship with other Christians. Like we would have a lot of youth events here. So I was just constantly around youth group people and doing devotionals and stuff. But it takes a little bit more to kind of seek out that, to be able to do that as many times as I would have done in a week while I was here. But I'm starting to find more opportunities to do that, so that one's improving. But
Yeah. One of the things that I remember a little bit, and actually which you'll learn this more as you go through your studies and especially through youth ministry, but kind of transitioning that faith from what you've always experienced in your home congregation with your family around to really having to own that faith. How has that been? And this is maybe a little bit of an intimate question, but how has that transition been going in your life?
Well, for me, that transition kind of started I would say junior year of high school when I went to Vocati. I really learned some things that I'd never caught on to before.
Yeah, come on, Ethan.
Apparently I was taught them, but didn't catch them.
But
But
okay,
anyway,
I'll forgive you.
so I started, that kind of started there, and then has just continued every year since then, and then in my Bible classes, just kind of learning more. But it's been interesting to just kind of struggle and wrestle with that. And then the conversations that I've had with my friends that don't necessarily, that might believe a few different things than me or see things differently. It has been a challenge just to wrestle with my own beliefs, own traditions, and then know how to carry a conversation with someone. So I was actually, we were up super late just talking about just different theological topics one time, me and one of my really good friends. And we have very similar personalities, and we started butting heads, and the conversation went downhill really fast, and I just woke up the next morning, just felt really bad about that. Like, that's not how I should have gone about the conversation. And we both apologized the next day and actually had a civil conversation after that. But I think it's just something that you learn. But
Well, and you said it started junior year,
Mhm.
and I was there with you as you were going through Vocati. What really helped start to trigger that, as far as really starting to own your faith? Obviously, I think the program probably had something to do with that. But what was really the standout aspect? I like hard questions.
yeah, you're giving them to me today. I would say what triggered that is just, I think it definitely started at the Vocati residency when we were going through all those classes, because that was a really heavy week. There was a lot of information that was taught, and it just kind of opened my eyes and made me really start thinking, like, because before that, I'll just say I was like most kids. I had the faith of my parents and just kind of didn't really question anything. Just kind of thought whatever was said in church, like, it's got to be the truth. Just go along with it. And I didn't really study my Bible a whole lot on my own. I just kind of took what other people took from it, and kind of put that in my own words or whatever. But after Vocati, it really opened my eyes as to the idea of having my own faith. Like, I realized that it wasn't my own faith. Not to say that it was wrong or anything, but it wasn't my own, and I hadn't really even started to build my own faith, like my own personal faith. But it all started there, and I just started studying on my own, and just trying to dive deeper than just the surface level that I had at the moment. So yeah, that's where it started, and then just Bible classes in college so far have just grown that, and then me studying what we talk about in those Bible classes on my own has grown that even more.
Yeah.
And then just conversations with people that are a lot smarter than me, that has really helped, because I don't think of myself as a brainiac or anything, or a theologian quite yet, but
Yeah, that's how Brian really grows, as he has conversations.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Timothy. Timothy is the brainiac.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Everyone
sure.
knows that. But yeah, well, that's. I think that is such a large aspect. I remember going to that. I didn't do it as early as you did. It was not my junior year. I remember going to college, and that was one of the things that I don't think I was prepared for. I wasn't prepared for. I thought I really had all of my stuff together, but in actuality, I've never really asked the questions. I never really wrestled with, and that was my freshman year was rather hard because of that. I remember that. I remember struggling through my freshman year and a lot of the things that I had never really considered and just taken, I had internalized what other people said without ever actually studying and looking at for my own.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that the Vicati program was able to really maybe give you a little push start in that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, unless you have another question.
Now, it's just, it's an interesting time. I remember when I because we all got ministry, or we all at least pursued ministry degrees. We'll see how your grades come out this semester. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, and so, I struggled with trying to integrate this new information that I'd never heard before with what I had always been taught, and also one of the things that you mentioned, interacting with people from different traditions, all of that was really kind of an eye-opening process for me, it was a journey. So I'm interested to see how your journey is going to turn out, my journey's still not over. I still get challenged and pushed, and it's a fun journey.
Yeah. Well, Ethan, thank you for coming. I know we put some hard questions before you. We really appreciate it. And I think as we, as a congregation, we're excited about what you're doing, where you're going. Continue to pray for you, but also are encouraged by what you're doing. And I think that's important, just like Timothy. Paul tells Timothy that it's not, his youth doesn't matter. Your youth doesn't matter. And you're an encouragement to everyone here, and we want to really uplift you in that, and we're excited. So,
Well, thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. We got a lot of stuff going on this week. We have our services as normal on Sunday and Wednesday nights. We have Men and More. We have all sorts of different stuff going on. We've got our young adult night on Thursday nights at my place. One thing that I want to mention is, not this week, but next week, since it's going to be spring break, we're going to do things a little different on Wednesday. Instead of having our full gambit of things, we're going to have just a devotional time that we can honor God and learn together. But we're not going to have our Man and More. We're not going to have our Kids Street. We're going to have just kind of a more kind of intimate kind of time together.
Yeah, so like you said, there's no Wednesday night Man and More and usual classes on the week of spring break, but every other Wednesday we do have Manna and More, which is a free meal at 6. Bring your friends and family. At 7 we have Bible classes for all ages, from infants all the way through adults. We have an adult class, we have a wonderful ladies class, we have a men's class, we have youth classes, we have our Kids Street program, which is for the kind of elementary age students, and then we also have some cradle roll classes for the itty bitties. In addition to that, I am still searching for Kids Street teachers for the month of kind of the last half of April, May. That last unit we'll be doing there. So if you're interested in teaching Kids Street, please come see me at any time. All curriculum is provided. You just have to show up by 6:45 and teach, and then you can leave at 8 when the class is over. In addition, I'm also looking for some Sunday morning teachers for the 2nd and 3rd grade and 4th and 5th grade classes. It's a 3-month commitment, but again, all curriculum is provided. Just show up Sunday mornings and you